Good morning. Now, next section is about poles and zeros and also about the stability criteria. Okay. Now, what are poles and zeros? I think I have given a brief discussion about it in the last class. Let's see it once again. What are poles and zeros? Okay, so the most useful Z transform is usually expressed in the form xz. As you know, it is the Z transform equal to pz divided by q of z, where p of z and q of z are polynomials in z. Now, what are zeros means? The values of z for which p of z equal to 0 are called zeros of xz, and the values with q of z equal to 0 are called poles. So, these are the two definitions. What are zeros and poles? Just in one sentence. Okay. Next, in the last class, we have studied about one of the characteristics of transfer function as the pole zero plot. Now, let's see what is a pole zero plot is. Okay, it is nothing but a graphical representation of a transfer function in the complex plane, and it helps us to convey certain properties of system, such as whether the given system is stable or unstable, and whether it is a casual or anti-casual system, whether it is mainly used in signal processing and also in control theory. Also, this pole zero plot shows the location in the complex plane of poles and zeros. That is, we know how we have already studied about how to determine the poles and zeros of the transfer function of a control system. Now, this pole zero plot actually shows the location, that is, where these poles and zeros of the transfer function of control system is located. Okay, actually, the poles are represented in the complex plane or in this pole zero plot by a cross, whereas zeros are represented by a circle. This we have studied in the last class. Now, a pole zero plot can represent either a continuous time or a discrete time system. For a continuous time system, the plane in which the poles and zeros appear is the S plane of the Laplace transform, whereas for a discrete time system, the plane is the Z plane, where Z represents the domain of Z transform. Okay, so in continuous time system, we mainly speak about Laplace transform, whereas in discrete time system, we speak about Z transform. Now, a brief definition. These are just definitions. What is a stable system? A stable system satisfies BIBO condition. BIBO means BIBO, bounded input, bounded output. Here, bounded means finite in amplitude. For a stable system, output should be bounded or finite for finite or bounded input at every instant of time. That is when we call a system as stable. That is a system is stable if and only if, suppose that you are giving a stable, that is, suppose you are giving a bounded or finite input, then if we are giving such an input, then the output will also be bounded or finite at every instant of time. Then the system will be stable, that is, both input and output will be bounded or finite. Okay, see an example. Examples are functions of sine, cosine, etc. Here y of t equal to x of t plus 10. Here, for a definite bounded input, we can get definite bounded output. That is, if we put xt equal to 2, yt will be 12, which is bounded in nature. Therefore, the system is stable. That is, equation is satisfied. Now, unstable system is just the reverse. That is, that do not satisfy the BIBO condition. That is, for a bounded input, we cannot expect a bounded output in case of unstable system. That is, even though we are giving a finite or bounded input, the output may not be bounded or finite. Okay, such a system is called unstable system. See an example. Y of t is equal to t x of t. Here, for a finite input, we cannot expect a finite output. For example, if we put xt equal to 2, then what will be yt? It will be 2 of t. This is not a finite value because we do not know the value of t. So, it can be ranged from anywhere. That is, the value of y of t varies as we changes the value of t, right? Therefore, the system is not stable. It is an unstable system. Now, how you define stability in terms of Z transform? That is, a necessary and sufficient condition for the system to be BIBO stable is given by summation from n from minus infinity to plus infinity h of n less than infinity. Now h of z, here hs actually stands for the frequency response of the system. Okay, so h of z equal to summation over n from minus infinity to plus infinity h of n z raised to n. Now this particular pattern comes why? Because we are speaking about z transform. Now we are taking the modulus on both left hand side and right hand side. Now the magnitude of overall sum is less than the sum of magnitude of individual terms. That is, this particular sign is given as less than symbol. We are replacing this equal to, and also this one we are splitting like this. Okay, now if h of z is evaluated on the unit circle, then mod of z raised to minus 1 will become 1. So in this equation, the above equation, this becomes 1. So this equation reduces to this. Now if the system is Bibo stable, then this particular term should be less than infinity. That means this one should be less than infinity. So this is the condition, the request that the unit circle should be present in the region of convergence of SZ. So this is the condition for stability of a control system in terms of Z transform. Okay, now this the stability of a system can be described in terms of various factors. So this one is based on the stability is mentioned based on Z transform. Okay, now in the next session we will see about the stability in terms of Nyquist plot or Nyquist stability criteria. Before that, we will see what are Nyquist plot. They are the continuation of polar plots for finding the stability of the closed loop control system by varying frequency omega from minus infinity to plus infinity. This means that Nyquist plots are used to draw the complete frequency response of the open loop transfer function. What is Nyquist stability criterion? It works on the principle of argument. It states that if there are p poles and z zeros, that is, number of poles is denoted as p and number of zeros is denoted as capital Z. If p poles and z zeros are enclosed in the S-plane closed path, then the corresponding HS plane must encircle the origin p minus z times. So we can write the number of encirclements n as n equal to p minus z. Here gs and hz. Here this hs is actually the frequency response. So this altogether can be called as the transfer function or the system function of the system. So what are the conditions or the criteria for this Nyquist stability criterion? These two. That is, if the enclosed S-plane closed path contains only poles, that is, if it is having only poles, then the direction of encirclement in the GS-HS plane, that is direction how all these poles and zeros are enclosed, will be opposite to the direction of enclosed path in the S-plane. Now if it contains only zeros, then what about the direction of the encirclement? It will be in the same direction as that of the enclosed path in the S-plane. So these are the two Nyquist stability criterion statements. Now we are applying the principle of argument to the entire right half of S-plane. That is, S-plane is a complex plane. Now we are applying this theorem only to the right half, and that particular right half is we are selecting it as the closed path. Now we are naming it as a Nyquist contour. Okay, now what is a closed loop control system? When will you say that a closed loop control system is stable? It is said to be stable if all poles of the closed loop transfer function are in the left half of the S-plane. So this is one definition when a closed loop control system is said to be stable. Okay, so poles of the closed loop transfer function are actually roots of the characteristic equation. As the order of the characteristic equation increases, it will be difficult to find the roots. So we correlate the roots of the characteristic equation as follows. This is how we summarize. That is, the poles of the characteristic equation are same as the poles of the open loop transfer function, whereas zeros of the characteristic function are same as the poles of the closed loop transfer function. Then when we say that a closed loop control system is stable, and when will you say that a closed loop open loop control system is stable? That is, an open loop control system, here see the change, an open loop control system is said to be stable if there are no open loop pole in the right half of the S-plane. This is a condition, if that is p equal to 0 implies n equal to minus z. Now a closed loop control system is said to be stable if there are no closed loop pole in the right half in the S plane. The condition is z equal to 0 implies n equal to p. So here the definitions that you have to study is what is Nyquist plot used for, or how, what is its importance. Then the Nyquist stability criterion, it is based on what? Principle of argument. Then what is it? Then the two criteria statements. Then what is a Nyquist contour? Then when you say that a closed loop control system is stable, and how will from the poles and zeros of a characteristics function, how can you say about the stability? And finally, how when will you say that an open loop control system is stable and a closed loop control system is stable, plus the conditions. Okay, now this is the theorem, just a statement. What is our state Nyquist stability criterion theorem? It states that number of encirclements about the critical point must be equal to poles of characteristic equation. What are poles of characteristic equation? They are actually nothing but poles of the open loop transfer function in the right half of the S plane. Now again we are analyzing the stability of a control system using the Nyquist plot in more detail. So here, as already mentioned, from Nyquist plot we can say we can decide whether a control system is stable or marginally stable or unstable based on the value of certain parameters. One such parameter is phase crossover frequency. What is it? The frequency at which Nyquist plot intersects the negative real axis. It is denoted by omega pc. Next one is gain crossover frequency. It is the frequency at which Nyquist plot is having magnitude of 1. It is denoted by omega gc. Next is the stability of control system based on relation between phase crossover frequency and gain crossover frequency. Now so here you have defined what is phase crossover frequency and gain crossover frequency. Now you are defining, or now you are trying to explain the stability of a control system based on these two terms, that is phase crossover frequency and gain crossover frequency. How we are defining means, if this phase crossover frequency, that is omega pc, if it is greater than gain crossover frequency, it is omega gc, then the control system is said to be stable. One condition. Now when this phase crossover frequency, that is WPC, if it is equal to gain crossover frequency, then control system is said to be marginally stable. Now again, when this phase crossover frequency is less than gain crossover frequency, control system is unstable. So this is how you decide the stability of a system based on phase crossover frequency and gain crossover frequency. Another parameter is gain margin and phase margin. Just the definitions. Gain margin GM is equal to reciprocal of magnitude of Nyquist plot at phase crossover frequency. GM is equal to 1 by MPC, where MPC is the magnitude in normal scale at phase crossover frequency. Next, the last section is phase margin. It is PM. It is equal to sum of 180 degree and phase angle at gain crossover frequency. That is, PM is equal to, you are adding a 180 degree plus 5 GC. What is 5 GC? Phase angle at gain. GC actually represents gain crossover frequency. So 5 actually denotes, it will be phase angle at gain crossover frequency. The stability of the control system based on the relation between gain margin and phase margin is listed below. Now we have another condition, that is stability is defined based on gain margin and phase margin. How will you decide the stability of a control system based on gain margin and phase margin? Now if gain margin GM is greater than 1 and the phase margin PM is positive, then control system is stable. If gain margin GM is equal to 1 and the phase margin PM is equal to 0 degrees, then control system is marginally stable. If the gain margin GM is less than 1 and or the phase margin PM is negative, then control system is unstable. So these are the principles. So in this session, what you have to study is, first we are just a definition about poles and zeros. Then these are just individual questions. What is meant by a pole zero plot and what is its importance? What do you mean by a stable system? What do you mean by an unstable system? You can explain it with these examples. Then next, this is the important section, that is how, what is meant by stable system, what is meant by an unstable system. Now you are trying to define the stability of a control system based on various parameters. First one is based on Z transform. You are defining the stability of the system with certain mathematical expressions. Then you are trying to decide the stability of a system based on Nyquist plot, that main with great importance to Nyquist stability criterion. Then about Nyquist condor and what are the conditions for an open loop control system to be stable and a closed loop control system to be stable. Everything comes under this Nyquist stability criterion statements. Okay. Then we are explaining the stability of a control system based on phase crossover frequency and gain crossover frequency, this one. Then you are explaining the stability of a control system based on gain margin and phase margin. Gain margin and phase margin. These are the conditions. So what is a stable system, what is an unstable system, and then you are defining the stability, or you are deciding the stability of a control system based on various parameters. Which are they? One is based on Z transform, other one based on Nyquist plot, then based on phase crossover frequency and gain crossover frequency, and finally based on gain margin and phase margin. Okay. Okay, today this is enough. Thank you.